This is the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Sam.
Good Monday morning to you, Sam, and to the sports world, and to all of you wonderful listeners out there. Sam, how was your weekend, sir?
It was wonderful. How was yours?
It was good. Got to go down to Jacksonville for Sports Radio America and do a game for the ABA, so it was a lot of fun. Got to do a game in front of 8,000 people. It was kind of a cool production, but had a good time, sir.
Fun stuff. Meet some fun people.
I did, yeah. I got to it. Nobody famous, unfortunately. Not like last time with Ben Wallace, but it was really cool, though, to be in the Jacksonville, what was it, Veterans Memorial Arena or something like that, and almost a sold-out crowd. So it's a cool event and a great time. And
sold out is awesome no matter how big it is.
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. We had a good time, though. So looking forward to it. I'll be in Michigan this upcoming weekend as well, doing a few games for the ABA.
Oh, look at you.
So going to be all over the great place. I know. And it's almost finals time for you. Are you feeling the pressure yet, or are you like, whatever, I've been doing this for years?
Yeah, kind of more the second one. It's mostly not even really the finals. It's just the projects that I have to get done before the finals. Finals week is actually one of my favorite weeks of the year because it's so relaxed.
That is actually fairly true.
Well, you either know it or you don't, and you don't have class all day. You got show up for a half hour, take a test, leave.
Hey, that's one of my favorite things about it. Do you have a lot of finals this year?
No, not two. I think I got like 4.
Oh, that's not bad. I know somebody that's got 1 this year. She's like, yeah, I've only got 1, and it's on Thursday out of our Monday through Thursday tests. I was like,
who?
Megan.
Oh, of course.
And I was like, of course. I know. I'm like, must be nice. I was that way freshman year, first semester. I was like, I got 1 final. Peace, bye. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good way to start off. But we're also glad to have all of you with us this morning, as well as you starting off your morning by listening to us right here on Spreaker.com and watching us on Periscope. Morning, everybody on Periscope. People continue to pile in as well. So while you're on, make sure to say hi to everybody. Talk to different people about us. Share the show as we are live. We've got a lot of different things we're going to get talking about today. We will be talking about Connor Christensen will be on here, so we'll have his fitness tip a little bit later on in the show. Corey Plath will be here to talk about MLS Cup 2015. We got some new college football playoff stuff going on, and, of course, the NFL, which is always swirling around. So remember, you can get all of that right here on Spreaker and on Periscope, but also on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time, and also on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, and on Podbean as well.
And you can find us on social media. We are on Facebook at The BG Sports Show and Instagram at BG Sports Show. And then, as always, you can find us on Twitter at BG Sports Show, at Baxter Colbert, and I am at Samuel_Wallace2.
That would be us. So, Sam, 2 overtime games yesterday in the NFL. I actually had the opportunity to catch most of the fourth into the overtime portion of it.
Yeah.
The Jets and the Giants.
Battle for New York.
Battle for New York, but it actually had even bigger implications for playoffs for both of those teams.
It did.
And the Jets emerged the victor of New Jersey. Or New York, or wherever they play. Or maybe Washington, D.C. I don't know. You're probably still mad at me for that.
A little bit.
If you didn't hear Friday's show, go back and listen to it, and you'll probably never want to listen again because you think, wow, Baxter's stupid.
He's so un-American.
I am. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's the Italian side of me. I don't know what you want from me. Anyway, so the Jets get a crucial 23-20 victory over the Giants. Fitzpatrick tosses 2 touchdowns. Nobody else really goes out of their mind except for Odell Beckham Jr. Every week he's got to make at least one ridiculous one-handed catch. I think he does that on purpose.
He's probably better than even we think he is, and he's just doing this to toy with humanity.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, 6 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown yesterday. Not bad at all.
He's the only guy I know who could take a quick slant and then take it 72 yards to the house. Just wow.
He's incredible, and I think now that the Jets dealt the Giants that loss, a lot of that does hang in the balance now with how Washington and Dallas do tonight, because Washington and the Giants are technically still tied for first place, but if Washington gets a victory tonight, they'll be the clear first place.
Just for the sake of that division, go Dallas. I want to see it
just to keep screwing it all up.
I want to see it this hot mess all the way to the end.
The NFC East is the NFC South from last year.
Yeah, it is.
That is basically what it's come down to this year. Even in the NFC South as a whole is a bit of a hot mess.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Aside from that, staying in the NFC, though, but going out west, the NFC West had a nice little showdown yesterday between the Arizona Cardinals and the St. Louis Rams. I think it's safe to say at this point, Sam, that whatever hype we had with the Rams at the beginning of the year is completely gone. They can't seem to put anything together anymore.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's interesting, too. Todd Gurley, in his first set of starts in the NFL, was averaging over 6 yards a carry, and in his last 3 starts, he's averaging 3.1.
Oof.
That's dropped in half.
He's been watching Eddie Lacy play too much,
No
I guess.
kidding. So I don't know if that's a little bit of, the rookie wall that he's hitting and realizing how long and tough an NFL season is.
That's true.
Even though he's only playing a part of it. Or, if if teams and defenses are starting to lock down on him a little bit more.
You know, I think it's maybe a little bit more that second one.
Probably.
I think that folks are starting to figure out.
Yep.
But anytime a new rookie comes into the league, it takes people a while to say, all right,
It does.
what kind of player is he? Let's get enough tape on him so we know how to defend him. He's already got what it's been now, 13 games under his belt, or 12 games up until that game of tape on him.
Yep.
Folks were able to start figuring it out. Now the Cardinals is a pretty smart team. They were able to go out and shut down St. Louis as a whole and won 27-3. So St. Louis goes to 4-8, and Arizona goes to 10-2. So well done there. The Buccaneers, Sam.
Atlanta is as bad as we thought they
are
have always been.
Garbage, absolute garbage. They're on a 6-game losing streak.
Just trash.
I love it.
So do I.
Tampa Bay. What a win.
Gosh, I still look at that Atlanta team and say, there is too much talent on that team.
Well, of course there is. I mean,
Julio
you've got
Jones, Devontae Freeman, come on.
Is Freeman back from
Yeah.
his concussion? Is he back?
Yeah.
Okay. How did he do in fantasy? Did he do?
Yeah, he scored nine standard fantasy points. Not ideal.
Not horrible. It's better than the
But-
2 points I got from my guys.
Yeah, the thing for Freeman this weekend was, though, he caught 10 passes out of the backfield.
Woo!
10 catches for, for 56 yards.
Wow.
Yeah. He had the most, not had the most targets. Julio Jones had the most targets, but Freeman had 10 catches on 11 targets. So, yeah.
So he's proving to be a nice versatile
Yeah,
back,
he's
which is helpful.
very versatile. But Atlanta as a whole is just not getting it done.
Atlanta is not, and I think it has to go back to their defense as well. Matt Ryan is not the quarterback we thought he was.
No.
Tampa Bay has done a fantastic job. Jameis Winston, I hate complimenting him, but I got to give it where credit is due. Doug Martin, 25 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown yesterday. That's the Doug Martin that made
you
so many people
drafted.
happy. That
Yep.
I drafted and traded away.
There we go.
Irrelevant to the conversation, but that is the Doug Martin, though, that folks
Yeah.
came to know and love a few
Yep.
years ago. So it's great to see, at least from that perspective, that Martin's got his groove back.
Something.
Go
Tampa Bay. Go
Woo!
Cam.
Yeah, right. Cam Fitch, 32, if you're out there, bro. That's for you.
Keeping it real.
You told us weeks ago, you're like, watch the Bucks, man. Watch the Bucks. We're
And
like,
you know
come
what?
on.
We're watching the Bucks.
Now we know. We're keeping an eye on just because of you, Cam. The game that I wasn't surprised by at all. Seattle, Minnesota.
I was and I wasn't. I was a little disappointed.
I thought it would be at least a little bit closer. But when it's 28-0 fast,
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah, not even just, ugh. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. Thomas Rawls is proving to be quite a backup for Marshawn Lynch.
No kidding. Kind of like Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. He's a good backup
They
quarterback.
should start him. He's good.
Give him a chance. That's all I'm saying. Just give the kid one chance and see what happens. But
The thing that got me with the Seahawks-Vikings game was how efficient Russell Wilson was.
it was
21 of
ridiculous.
27 for 3 touchdowns and 274 yards.
when you have that kind of a performance against what supposedly is a very good defense, I understand that they were missing Anthony Barr and Harrison Smith for portions of the game due to injuries, which is unfortunate. But Minnesota is still a good enough team.
Yep.
They should have been able to put up a little bit of pressure. They looked like they were just out there. And
running
like,
around.
every fourth play we'll tackle.
Yeah.
Every maybe fifth or sixth play, we'll make a decent, behind the line tackle. But it's like everything else, just go ahead, Seattle. Just go. And that's what they did in Seattle. Now improves to 7-5. Vikings dropped 8-4.
And we're going to talk about
That's scary time of year.
in one of our upcoming segments about where that puts the playoff picture. But
That's
the thing
true.
that got me with the Vikings, too, is a team that had only given up 19 points a game on defense, 38 points at home.
Ridiculous.
Not going to get it done.
No, Teddy looked like a deer in the headlights yesterday. Did not look confident, and we were worried about that. We said Teddy had to step up and throw for at least 250 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game, and that was not the Teddy
Didn't
that
happen.
showed up. Buffalo and Houston. Houston's winning streak finally snapped as the Bills grab their 6th win of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Good
mean,
for them.
pretty balanced for the Bills.
Yeah.
LaShawn Shady McCoy, 21 carries, 112 yards. Sammy Watkins only turned in 3 catches, but 109 yards and a touchdown.
I think that's the second or third time this year that Watkins has had under 5 catches, but he's been over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. So he's been incredibly efficient with the balls that he is catching.
Yeah.
Although I would like to see him get the ball more in his hands, because if he's able to do this with just 3 or 4 catches, imagine what he would do if he had 8 or 9 catches to his name.
And
So
for the record, he did say a couple weeks ago, if I got 10 or 12 catches a game or 10 or 12 looks a game, I'd turn in 100, 150 yards
Yeah.
and 2 touchdowns every week. I mean,
I don't know what Buffalo's missing on this one.
a little arrogant, maybe. Is there some truth? Probably.
Looks a little truthy to me, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. But so congratulations to Buffalo on getting their 6th victory of the year, especially winning at home. The Miami Dolphins proving that the game between two teams that are both awful, that one team finally had to win, and it was Miami, though, 15-13, so way to go, I guess. All 15 of their points coming in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Lamar Miller, nice day from him. Baltimore, though, had some of the leading stat guys, though. Little weird, though, that the running back was the leading receiver for Baltimore. Jarvis Allen had 12 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown.
Almost similar to James White yesterday.
Yeah, my
close.
goodness. So the Dolphins go to 5-7. Ravens go to 4-8. Nothing too crazy. No
Nothing
playoff
there.
implications there. I'm not going to spend time on this. Cincinnati blew down the Cleveland Browns 37-3. Austin Davis was garbage. Manziel would have done better.
Stop it.
Just got to say that. Tennessee and Jacksonville. It was an entertaining game to watch.
41 points in the fourth quarter. That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
For two teams that are junk, that's a great game.
That was, two junky defenses and two high-powered offenses if they get going.
Yeah.
And we saw them get going yesterday. Allen Robinson, 10 catches, 153 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Bortles, 5 passing touchdowns yesterday. Mariota set an NFL record with an 87-yard rushing touchdown.
Yeah. Go
There was
Marcus.
all kinds of stuff that was happening yesterday. So
Somebody had to win.
yeah, exactly. So I'm happy for Tennessee. I would have preferred Jacksonville because I wanted Jacksonville still in the playoff hunt. But at this point, it's like whatever.
No.
Another game that doesn't really have playoff implications anymore because
I was a little surprised, though.
yeah, San Fran and Chicago. I ended up watching the fourth quarter into the overtime bit because I was at a friend's house when this happened. But Blaine Gabbert's rushing touchdown was critical. Robbie Gould was rattled, missed 2 field goals. It was bad for Chicago yesterday.
I mean, I bet you the Packer fans would have taken a few of those Robbie Gould misses over the years.
No kidding. He's been so consistent, and that's when I was watching with some family friends of mine. They're like, isn't Robbie Gould pretty darn consistent? I'm like, he's made his living off of being one of the most consistent kickers in the NFL. I'm like, how does he miss 2 today? I'm like, as someone that was a kicker, I'm like, you just have those days. It just
Anytime
happens.
the Packers played the Bears and it came down to a field goal, I'm like, all right, pack it up.
Yeah,
We're done.
I'm like, if Robbie Gould's kicking, we're done. Like, it's not going to happen.
I don't care if it's a 65-yard field goal. It's probably going to go in.
Yeah, no kidding. So, another game yesterday. Broncos win over the Chargers, 17-13. Osweiler is 3-0. Love it. I think he's officially closed the door on Peyton. He's not doing anything over the top. He's just winning.
But you know what? That's more than Peyton was doing.
That's true. That is true. That's the hard argument about it, though. It's one of those things where it's like, well, he's not turning in 350-plus yard games. So what? He's still winning.
He's winning games.
Finding ways to win games. I don't know. The Chiefs found another victory yesterday. They took down the Raiders 34-20. Jeremy Maclin waking up out of a dead sleep. 9 catches, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Back-to-back weeks for him.
Way to go, Jeremy Maclin. I think the Chiefs are like, hey, maybe if we throw the ball to our receivers, we'll do well. But don't tell anybody.
Man, the Chiefs throwing a touchdown to a wide receiver.
Twice.
In the same
That's
game.
an unheard of occurrence.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. If Kansas City gets into the playoffs, they'll cause a little bit of a ruckus. So I think I'd like them from an overall playoff perspective.
What's really cool, though, is Alex Smith. You know when the last time he threw a touchdown was?
When was that?
When they played the Packers earlier this year.
Of course it was. I mean, remember going into that game, too.
They hadn't thrown a touchdown.
Exactly.
To a
I'm
wide
like, this is going to be the game.
And it was. And he also threw a pick that day. But for Alex Smith, he hasn't thrown a pick since like week 3.
Woo! Well done, Alex Smith. Stepping up.
kidding.
Who's Aaron Rodgers? Alex Smith was the #1 draft pick that year. Yeah.
Tell
woo.
that to San Francisco.
Yeah, right. They'd be like, dang it. They could use Alex Smith right now. Carolina almost lost, but they
Go Saints.
came back. Cam Newton and company rallying to win 41-38, so great for them. Good victory for the team, but that does raise questions, though, about Carolina. Looks beatable, so a little concerned about that one going forward if you are a Panthers
very
fan,
sloppy play.
especially against the Saints team that is pretty much Swiss cheese on defense.
I mean, yeah, they gave up 41 points.
They
but
did, yeah.
Come on, Panthers.
I feel like Carolina should have. It should have been like a 41-12 game or 41-21 game or something like that. But
38.
props to Drew Brees and company for giving the Panthers a run for their money, though.
Yes, they did.
The big game that a lot of folks were looking forward to that I feel like I semi-called, saying, could this be a trap game? Sure enough, it was. The Patriots realizing that they don't always have luck on their side, or the referees, or the NFL, or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the Philadelphia Eagles capitalizing on so many different special teams and other turnovers and actually made New England pay. Got revenge for their Super Bowl loss a few years ago. And the Eagles win 35-28, and now the Eagles are back in playoff contention with that victory.
Which is totally, I don't know. That's crazy and unnecessary for if you're a Philadelphia fan.
They don't deserve it. I'm sorry.
they do
You
not.
guys don't in Philadelphia. That's great. You beat the Patriots finally, but up until this point, I would never have called you a playoff team. Yeah, I'm not
No.
even going to call them a playoff team right now.
No, I think the Patriots are finally realizing they can't continue to win with just decimating results from injuries on their offensive side.
Agreed. I
But-
agree. Yeah, New England's got a lot of work to do. I mean, Brady still had a pretty good night, though. Threw the ball 56 times, completed 29 passes for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns. So
30 fantasy points. I mean,
30 fantasy points. You mentioned James White as well, though. 10 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown.
go
So
Wisconsin.
must have been something right. So we'll see. And then the Sunday night game was the Steelers
Just destroying the Colts.
throttling the Colts. Matt Hasselbeck no longer undefeated.
That's all right.
So we can stop that talk now. Pittsburgh wins 45-10, moves to 7-5. Colts go to 6-6, and then your Monday night game tonight, which actually has semi-playoff implications,
does.
at least for Washington.
For that division, it does.
Yeah, for that division, it's Dallas and Washington tonight. So we'll have the review of that game tomorrow after that takes place. So we're going to go to a break, but before we do, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors of the BG Sports Show. That would be Student Debt Center. You can call them today to have your student loan payments reduced by calling 855-401-3508.
That number again is 855-401-3508. Back with more after the break.
Welcome back to the BG Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm back.
And this is Sam.
Quick reminder for all of you social media lovers and savants out there that we encourage you to go and give us a like on Facebook, like the BG Sports Show on Facebook, give us the big old blue thumbs up, or go to Twitter and Instagram and follow us at BG Sports Show.
Yeah. You should go to Twitter and follow us.
We should.
That would be awesome.
I already follow us, Sam, so...
I follow us too, finally.
Oh, good. I'm so proud
Finally,
of you.
I do. But yeah, you can find news, articles, videos, pictures, and more every day. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at Baxter Colbert and at Samuel_Wallace2.
Absolutely. All right, it is time to take a look at what the NFL playoffs would look like if they started today. We haven't done this for 2 weeks, I think, so
Yeah, it's been a while.
it was time we bring it back. And at this point, we've got a little bit clearer picture.
Movers and shakers.
A lot of movers and shakers. It's a good little salsa dance routine if you like that sort of thing, depending on what's
Victor
going
Cruz.
on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, woo, love it. All right, so start in the AFC, Sam, and then we'll
Yep.
work our way to the better conference, the NFC. No, let's be kidding. They're both garbage this year. But The AFC, the American Football Conference.
The American.
Yes,
Football.
the American Ohio State Conference.
There it
So,
is.
looking at the 1 through 6 seeds right now, it is Cincinnati at 1, Denver 2, New England 3,
Yep.
Indianapolis 4, Kansas City 5, and the Jets, Jets at 6.
That's
So,
not gonna last.
What's that?
That's
That's not
not
going to
gonna
last. Now, I mean, you look at the teams in 7, 8, 9, basically. Pittsburgh is at 7 with 7 and 5. Buffalo 6 and 6. Houston 6 and 6.
There's a lot of teams left with a
Yeah,
shot.
there's plenty of teams. Cleveland's out. Tennessee's out. San Diego, Baltimore, Jacksonville, pretty much out. Miami, pretty much out too.
Yeah, we'll see.
So let's do it here, Sam. So Jets would have to go to the Patriots in the wild card round. Chiefs have to go to the Colts in the wild card round. Who do you like in those games?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets and the no, just kidding. I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
Chiefs and the Patriots.
Chiefs and the Patriots get the victories over in the AFC. Why do the Kansas City Chiefs take down the Colts? Is it because of the poor performance last night?
The Chiefs are just so red hot right now, and I think if the playoffs started like this coming weekend,
Yes.
they got too much going for them. The Colts, yeah, Matt Hasselbeck is 40 years old. I think he takes one solid hit and he's done.
I agree with you on that
His
one.
age does not play in his favor. Alex Smith has not thrown a pick since week 3. He's too efficient. Their ground game is looking good, and Jeremy Maclin is hot right now.
I agree. And I think we're at this point, too, where we realize that I'm glad that Indianapolis knows that Andrew Luck should not be rushed back.
No.
And I'm glad that they're being smart about that. They're not trying to be like Dallas and just hustle them back, be like, we need you back, back.
Playoffs!
Yeah, it's like, no.
They did say week 15 for Andrew Luck.
Yes.
Was what I heard. So we'll see.
So we'll see if he does come back, and I feel like Indianapolis will be in the playoffs regardless of what happens the next few weeks. I think they'll find a way to
Find a
grab
way
a
to get
wild
in.
card or something,
Yeah.
I mean, they might even win their division at this point, honestly. I don't know. So with that, with Kansas City winning, they would go to Cincinnati, and New England would go to Denver. So Chiefs, Cincinnati,
Yep.
what do you like in that game?
Chiefs.
Really?
Go Chiefs.
So you're just continuing to
I'm going to
just
ride the Chiefs.
blow out with the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton playoff just doesn't work.
Well, no. I mean,
No?
the Bengals are great right now. We'll see. But I like the Chiefs right now. I just love how the Chiefs, what was it, like 6 weeks ago, were contemplating a number 1 draft pick. And
Yeah.
now they're in the playoffs and have the number 1 wild card spot.
I agree. And now you've got them picked to go to the AFC Championship game
I
at this
do.
point. Patriots-Broncos, a rematch. Does Brady get revenge over the little Brock man? Well, he's not little, but against Brock.
A little 6'8" Brock.
Yeah. For the NBA, he's small. Let's if we
It's
want
tiny.
He is. It's like, oh, you're only 6'8"? That's
Yeah.
cute. You're on the bench, kid.
I don't see Bill Belichick losing to the same team twice.
Mm.
I don't think he gets outcoached. I think he'll literally move heaven and earth to win that game.
True. And maybe
So-
deflate a few footballs. No.
I like the Patriots in that game.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. I think New England's got the right stuff, baby, going forward with that one. So it would be New England and Kansas City
Yeah.
in the AFC Championship game. When's the last time the Chief fans can say they were in a championship game for that?
With the New England Patriots.
With the New England Patriots.
I still like the Patriots.
Do
I really
you?
do.
Even with as much of a mess that they are right now?
I do.
Wow. Just for argument's sake, I'll go with the Chiefs. I think maybe
Yeah.
they can ride a little bit of this momentum, and I think that they would be able to pull the upset.
Chiefs
Because
in the
if
Super Bowl?
Denver,
Wow.
I don't know.
We should go back in time like 7 weeks and have one of us be like, you know what? Chiefs are going to go to
Yeah,
the Super
be
Bowl
like,
when
what
they're
if
like
somebody will get slapped. Like what? Like
when
you're
they're sitting at
foolish.
like 1-5.
Yeah, like Chiefs, calling it right now, man. Watch me say, and be like, no, not at all. So we have either the Chiefs or the Patriots representing the AFC. Now over on the NFC, the lineup right now is Carolina at 1, Arizona 2, Green Bay at 3, since Minnesota lost and they won. Washington at 4, barring what happens tonight. Minnesota at 5, and of course, everybody's favorite team, Seattle, has jumped to 6.
Yep.
7, 8, 9, 10 are the Buccaneers at 6 and 6. The Falcons are 6 and 6. Eagles are 5 and 7, and the Giants are 5 and 7.
Falcons are 0-3 in their division. I'm just looking at that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Anyways, so yeah, Panthers and Cardinals get the first round bye, and then you have. I'll be asking you these ones here. Let's see what you can do. Seattle goes to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota goes to Washington.
Oh gosh,
Who do you got?
Seattle wins. Begrudgingly, Seattle wins. Seattle's too hot. We
Yep.
saw how they dismantled Minnesota
A
yesterday.
very good Minnesota defense in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I think it's great that Green Bay won against Detroit. That's fantastic from on paper.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't solve
Green Bay
anything.
is in such a mess right now
Yeah.
that Seattle, in my opinion, would win that game by probably at least 14.
Yeah.
So Seattle's
I
a
hate
much
to
better
agree
team
with
right
you.
now.
I mean, even though the game would be in Green Bay, that would be the only really thing going the Packers' way
Yep.
at this point.
Nothing Green Bay is doing right now gives me any bit of confidence saying this team is going to win the game. None at all.
Considering you have Russell Wilson, who's normally, traditionally in the last few years, has not been a prolific pocket passer.
Yep.
Slinging the ball around. I think he's got like 8 touchdowns over the last 2
He
weeks.
looks scary good.
Yeah.
He looks like, I think Seattle's going, this is exactly what we've been waiting for all year,
Finally.
you know? So I'm glad, you know, for Seattle that they found
Yeah.
their rhythm from an overall perspective.
Yeah.
And if Green Bay loses to Seattle, yes, there'll be angry Packer fans like, we can't ever beat the Seahawks. Well, whatever. Get over it. You beat them once this year, maybe Green Bay will be able to work something out again, but
All right.
Seattle's too hot.
Vikings, Redskins.
Vikings, Redskins. See, this is interesting because it depends on what Minnesota team shows up, and it depends on if it's Kirk Cousins, you know, slinging the ball around right now, and if how Washington's defense is. Because
I'm telling you, Kirk is the monster of Maryland.
he is, or DC, or wherever they're located.
Yeah, see?
But I'm not exactly sold on either team. For me, right now, it depends on if Minnesota's defense is healthy or not, because I do honestly believe that with Barr and Smith both being out of that game yesterday against Seattle for a majority of it, did cause the blowout in some regards. So Washington doesn't have the same passing defense, or same rush defense like Seattle does. So
Yeah.
I think Minnesota has the advantage, not by much, but I think Minnesota does advance if the playoffs started today.
All right. So then you have Seattle going to Carolina, and you have Minnesota going to Arizona.
See, I'm not a fan of these games because I know what in my heart what I would like to have happen, but I know realistically what will happen.
Yeah.
Arizona will blow Minnesota out of the building.
Yes, I
like they're
believe
probably
that is
going to do on Thursday night.
Totally true.
And Seattle's going to embarrass Cam Newton
Really?
as well. Yes, I think that at this point in the game, Seattle is
They're a playoff team.
unfortunately like what we're hoping wasn't going to happen is hot. And they're hot, and when they're hot, no team in the NFL can get in front of them. Carolina's offense does not have enough to match what Seattle's defense is now playing at, and Carolina's defense is good, but if Russell Wilson continues to play the way he has, this is
All right.
not even going to be a close game. So Seattle wins that game, Arizona wins that game.
All right. So you have Arizona and Seattle.
And Seattle. This is the only part about it that actually makes semi-sense, and I think that Arizona is going to beat Seattle because, number one, they play each other twice, so they
Yep.
already know what's going on. They've got that advantage over them. They've already beaten them once this year.
Yep.
Arizona is going to win. It's going to be by less than 7 points, though, so I've got Arizona in the Super Bowl.
So we have Arizona against either the Chiefs or the Patriots.
Yes, right
Cool.
now.
I like those games.
I like
Either
those.
one.
Arizona, Kansas City would be a very interesting...
That would be great. I don't. See
Arizona would win.
I think Arizona would win. I think the better football game would be Arizona New England. But man,
Oh, of course.
for the Chiefs,
An Arizona New England final would be fun though.
It would
You know,
be.
it'd be a little bit different dynamic. It would be great to see. Okay, just hypothetical, really fast. If Arizona wins, does Larry Fitzgerald retire after the year?
oh for sure.
Finally got his victory, even though
Yeah.
he's got like maybe 2 or 3 years left in him if he wanted to.
I think you walk away at this point, considering he's playing a lot better this year than a lot of people expected him.
That
to.
is incredibly true. Yeah, I mean, Arizona looks like a hot team right now. I mean,
It's nice to see Carson Palmer play, knock on wood, the whole year. Because last year it was so sad to watch their season just kind of unravel before.
and this is
everybody's
kind of at the
eyes.
point that it was last year.
Yeah,
I mean, they were 9-1, and then he got hurt, and then it just kind of
Shriveled
crashed from
up
there.
into
But
nothing. Yeah,
so far,
it's looking good.
10-2, Arizona. They've got Minnesota this coming Thursday night, so we'll see. Did you have any arguments or different games that you would vary though about that?
No, unfortunately, I don't see the Packers making it through round one at this point. I do see Minnesota beating the Redskins. I would like to think that Cam Newton and company could put up a good fight against the Seahawks at home.
I agree.
I mean, the Panthers did not look great yesterday on the road in New Orleans to Drew Brees and company, but yeah, we'll see.
And that's why I kind of said it too. I was like, I think it would be a very
Yeah.
close game, but I have a hard time betting
again,
against Seattle right
We've
now.
been calling it since the beginning of the year that, yes, Seattle starts off slow, but when they get going,
They're dangerous.
They're a great end of the season, postseason team.
Exactly. Kind of like the BG Sports Show when we get going. We're a pretty hot team to stop, you know.
Yeah,
So
we
just
are.
a reminder, though, for all of you that you can listen to us right here from 7 to 8 a.m. Central on Spreaker.com and also on Periscope every Monday through Friday as well.
We are also broadcasted from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time on SportsRadioAmerica.com, live 365, and tune in. We will be back with more after the break.
Welcome back to the BG Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Sam.
We're having a pretty good show so far, Sam, wouldn't you say?
Loving it.
Yeah. Well, if you enjoy listening to our show, we encourage you to consider becoming a financial supporter of the show.
You can find out how to donate now on our website, which is bgsportshow.podbean.com. And when you're there, click on Become a Patron in the top right corner of the button. So we appreciate all of your continued support of our sports radio show.
Yes, indeed. All right, Sam. Well, the college football playoff Final Four has finally been determined.
They're set.
Woo! But looking real fast, I just want to look back for just a second. The conference championship games that led into where we are now.
For the record, we were 4 for 4.
We were. So,
Just saying.
ESPN should just hire us because we got all our picks right. So, how did they do, Sam? I don't think they even, I'm sure they
were probably 4 for 4.
They probably got most of their picks right as well. But yes, Clemson took down North Carolina 45-37. So good for them. North Carolina, though, I'm proud of them for giving up such a big fight. They'll probably end up at a fairly decent sized bowl game this year. Maybe, I don't know exactly, but I'm glad Clemson got the victory. Deshaun Watson, if he's not in the Heisman talk, he needs to be in the Heisman talk. Pardon me now.
Do you think he does?
I think so. He's one of the more complete quarterbacks in the league. And I think it's probably better that Oklahoma has to go play Clemson than if it was Michigan State, because Michigan State would get run out of the building, I feel like, at this point, if they had to play Clemson.
Probably.
Although Michigan State, after they took down Iowa, not very convincingly. I mean,
it was a good classical Big Ten defensive.
It was. And the fact that Connor Cook and company were able to drive down the field 22 plays over 9 minutes and end up scoring the game-winning touchdown with, was it like 20-some seconds left, I think. So it was huge.
That was dumb.
It was stupid to watch because you're like, are they still on offense? Let's go.
You're like, I went and got dinner, took a nap, came back.
I graduated college.
State still has the ball.
3 children. Like, come on. Like, it was ridiculous. But Michigan State emerges victorious.
Yep.
They go in. They will take on Alabama, which I think is still terrifying.
Yeah, for anybody.
Alabama, I don't want to say they handed the game to Florida, but Alabama won 29-15 over Florida. Not as close of a game as I thought it was going to be, but I'm glad that Alabama got another victory, so congratulations to them. Stanford, they did everything in their power to make it into the top 4. Couldn't do it, though.
Nope.
They did beat USC pretty handily, 41-22. Christian McCaffrey, as we mentioned, though, earlier in the week, just dominating all over the place. 32 carries, 207 yards, and a touchdown. And he also had 4 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown as well. I'm pretty sure he got everybody water and kicked 5 extra points during the game also. And
probably did.
So the kid's a beast. If you haven't checked out Christian McCaffrey highlights on YouTube, go check it out. He's an incredible player.
Yeah, back to the Alabama game. Derrick Henry, though, who is also in contention for the Heisman right now, 44 carries for 189 yards.
They were riding him all night long. 189 yards and a touchdown.
I can't imagine what the pregame talk was like, because Alabama clearly was going to rely on him
the
entire game, for better or for worse. And they're like, Derrick, you're going to get probably... I wonder if they told him you're going to get over 40 carries a game. They probably said, 30 to 35 carries for this game. And he's like, all right, big workload. I can do this.
Yeah.
But, man, 44 is a lot.
Exactly. I mean, you talk about a running back, anytime you hear them get into the high 20s, you're like, oh, wow, they were
big day.
They were busy. Yeah, but you talk about even breaking the 35 mark, you're like, whoa, they really needed him. But you go to 44.
Wonder how he's feeling.
He's probably really sore today.
Probably not so much yesterday. Probably really sore today.
Yeah, the first day you wake up, you're like, I'm feeling good. We won. Woo! Probably still a little happy on life, whatever.
Yep.
But
Monday morning,
I'm sure he's probably laying in his bed like, nope, not going to class today. Can't move. But congratulations to Alabama. They get through.
Yep.
So with that being said, Sam, now we look ahead.
Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama, Michigan State.
So, what are you feeling, Sam?
I'm going to go chalk. I have to. Clemson, Alabama.
Cha. That's what we're calling it, is cha?
Going with chalk, yep.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I just feel Clemson right now. Yeah, they'd run. I think the only team. I don't know. I don't see Oklahoma putting up that big of a fight. I mean, they're going to play well.
Oh, of course.
Oklahoma will play well, but Clemson right now, they're too good. I just think there's too much going on with the Tigers right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Oklahoma. Out of the 2 games, if we're looking for an upset, Oklahoma's got a better chance to upset Clemson than Michigan State does to Alabama, barring some weird act of God, which I really don't see. So Alabama, as always, is going to find a way to get to the final.
Yep.
Not even really worried about Michigan State trying to put up a bit of a fight, honestly.
Although, if an act of God were to happen to any of these 4 teams, it would probably happen to Michigan State.
It's happened to them a few times already this year, so if we're going based off of what team has the hand of God right with them more,
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan State might have the deity bonus,
Yeah,
but aside from that,
Alabama has Nick Saban, which is almost the same thing.
basically the same thing. A Big 12 team, though, finally, in the Final Four. I mean, finally, but not finally, because, I mean, it's only been around 2 years, but
Yeah.
it's nice to see a Big 12 team finally back in the reins. Oklahoma hasn't been in a big game like this since Sam Bradford or Adrian Peterson were on their team
Ooh,
back
there
in
we
the day.
go.
I always forget Adrian Peterson went to Oklahoma.
Gosh.
I'll see old highlights, and it's like, Adrian Peterson another 10 touchdown. I'm like, oh, yeah, he went to
yeah.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I just felt like you'd have gone to a better school, but what are you going to do?
Ooh.
Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, Oklahoma, at least I'm going to go outlandish. I'm picking Oklahoma over Clemson.
There you go. Somebody has to.
And you're going to go Clemson, Oklahoma, I'm assuming?
Yep.
And what are we doing with this last game?
Gosh, man,
Because this is like the Minnesota-Seattle game where we know what we want to have happen,
Yeah.
but what will actually happen.
I don't know. I mean, I look at Alabama and I kind of see them in recent years as the New England Patriots of college football, where
True.
they're just built to win. I'd like to say that Alabama is going to be better coached, better prepared, and they're going to win this game, but could Clemson get it done this year? Maybe.
I think it would be nice. I'm a little tired of it either being Ohio State or Alabama that wins.
I
So
suppose.
as much as, I mean, it'd be, for Big Ten bragging
Yeah.
rights. Woo, Michigan State gets to the final. I'm
Ugh.
kind of over that. I'd like somebody outside.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm probably going to be pulling for either Oklahoma or Clemson
Yeah,
to win
for sure.
against whoever they play, just because
Yep.
I'd like a little bit of change, a little bit
Absolutely.
of, things of that nature. So that's what I'm going with. I've got Oklahoma winning, and then I know that it's going to be Alabama that beats Michigan State
Yeah.
going forward. So let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys on Twitter. You can find us at BG Sports Show, at Baxter Colburn, at Samuel_Wallace 2 as well. Still more to come here on the BG Sports Show. Connor Christensen will be joining us a little while, and we've got some other good stuff to chat about as well on the BG Sports Show. But before we go to a break, we'd like to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors of the BG Sports Show. That would be Student Debt Center. You can call them now to inquire about your student loans being reduced by calling 855-401-3508 to make one easy student loan payment that will help stop or avoid garnishments from your check.
Again, that number is 855-401-3508 for much lower payments based on your income and living circumstances rather than a simple fixed interest rate. Call now before Congress makes cuts to the national budget, which will nullify this free program. Remember, 855-401-3508. Back with more after the break.
Welcome back to the BG Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Connor.
Good morning, Connor. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you on. We are going to get to your fitness tip in just a little while, but before we do that, we want to talk a little Minnesota Vikings with you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not the best game
No.
that they've played, but,
No.
sometimes that happens. So I'm curious to know your thoughts of what's happening in Vikingville now, or Viking land, after
man.
such a demoralizing and very
Yeah.
lopsided loss yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it's painful to just even think about, because they have the potential to they had the potential to make that a really good game.
Yes.
And they did not make that a good game at all. They clearly were not listening to the show, because I told them what they had to do to win.
Yeah.
And they didn't do any.
I sent it
of
to
the
Coach
things.
Zimmer. I
Yeah,
don't know, man.
yeah.
I don't know what he was doing.
To be honest, I am not sure what's going on in Viking land at the moment. I know they're beat up. I know that, but there comes a point when it's like, yeah, you're beat up, but you got to play.
Exactly.
You got to play through it. And,
Absolutely.
Teddy is really flopping. I mean,
He looked bad yesterday.
At the start of the season, everybody was saying, Teddy's got potential.
Yep.
Teddy can be all these things, but we can talk about potential until he's a 10-year quarterback, and then he's just bad. So he needs to start stepping up.
I agree. Yeah, looking at his stat line yesterday, 17 of 28, only 118 yards, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times yesterday, which I know some of that can be attributed to Minnesota's offensive line being banged up.
Yeah, which is garbage as well.
And he posted a 55 quarterback rating yesterday, while Russell Wilson posted a 146, just to give you a little bit of the dynamic of how the two quarterbacks did yesterday. I was a little surprised and frankly shocked, and I believe he was also, that Adrian Peterson only touched the ball 8 times yesterday.
Yeah, I've been saying that since, week 1 against San Francisco, they got handled by San Francisco.
Yep.
And Adrian Peterson touched the ball 10 times in that game. And, when you give the ball, or when you give Adrian Peterson the ball less than 25 times, I don't even know why you think you're going to win, because Adrian Peterson is that offense.
I agree, and
Is that offense.
I understand when you're down 38-7 or you're down 28-0 or whatever, that your first reaction is, well, we need to pass the ball. We got to air it out. Got to get down the field fast. Running is not going to do that. But you need to realize, though, too, that when your running back is Adrian Peterson, that if you give him the ball enough times, you get him going, you get him warmed up, you're going to start seeing 8 to 15-yard carries, boom, 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 down the field. Because when he's hot, he's one of the hardest people in the NFL to slow down.
Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, he's the deep threat.
Yeah.
And it's on, and it's on the ground. It's not through the air.
Exactly.
And he's still better than he's more reliable than any of the wide receivers. And Teddy Bridgewater is not playing well at all. So I'm not sure how I feel about Teddy at the moment. He's really shaken faith, and like I said, we can talk about potential, but eventually he has to start stepping up.
Do you make a switch if you're Minnesota? Do you give Teddy a game to just think about what he's doing?
I would.
So you would go with Sean Hill, I think,
I
is who
would,
your guys'
I would switch him out.
backup
I
is?
would switch Teddy out, yeah.
Sean Hill. It's difficult, too, because Minnesota plays Arizona this coming week. They've got a short week. Thankfully, they had a home game, and then they have to go now to Arizona, but at least they were home to begin with, so that helps a little bit with preparation. But I think even going up against Arizona right now, who's 10-2, who I think is slightly better than what Seattle has going for them.
I would agree.
It might be another long night.
Probably. I do pick Arizona to beat Minnesota. I've always picked Arizona to beat Minnesota. I think that it's tricky to say what they should do at quarterback. I personally, with the way Teddy has been playing, you gotta sit him. You gotta sit him. You gotta put someone else in. And because when he was hurt, when he got that concussion, and Sean Hill went in, Sean Hill didn't flop the game or anything. He needs to. Sean needs to come in the game. He needs to try to manage the game as best he can, because Teddy is not doing it. And, we can chalk it up, offensive line, whatever, but there comes a time when even under pressure, the quarterback still has to make plays.
I agree.
Teddy has made 0 plays.
Once again, I completely agree. Looking at Teddy for the year, he's passed for 2,300 yards, almost 2,400. He's only passed for 8 touchdowns. He's got an 83 average quarterback rating for the year. So, he hasn't looked awful. He's also thrown 8 interceptions, though. But the number that bothers me the most is his 5 fumbles. He's fumbled the ball 5 times as a quarterback. If you fumble that many times throughout a year, in any position, that's never going to end up well for you.
No.
But the fact that he himself has fumbled, and I think, as we did mention, I don't want to say that this is completely his fault, completely the offensive line's fault, because the whole team as a whole needs to accept responsibility. But if your quarterback is fumbling 5 times, it's usually because he's in the pocket trying to find a guy, and then he gets hit, loses the ball, it's on the ground. There's only so much he can do. But Minnesota, though, so let's step away from what's happening at this exact second, looking ahead to the offseason. If Minnesota needs to start bringing in certain players, whether it is the free agent market or it's drafting guys, what types of players or positions do they need to start looking for?
Offensive line. They need to protect Teddy. They need to, because I'm pretty sure the organization is going to stick with him.
Yes,
I think.
I think we all kind of have a general inkling that as long as he stays healthy, that they're fine with him.
No. And to be perfectly honest, he does have potential to be good.
Yes.
And the problem is, he is getting beat up every single game, and it's getting progressively worse and worse as the hits mount as the season rolls on. I mean, that being said, he's still not playing well, but I think if you give him the tools to take the time he needs to make the throws, because he needs to build up his confidence. Right now he has no confidence, and that's because he's scrambling around trying to make throws without getting hit.
Yeah, hoping he doesn't die on every play.
Seriously, every huddle is just a silent, a quick prayer so that he can, please don't let me get sacked.
Yeah.
But no, they need to bring in offensive line. I think they need. Oh man, yeah, that offensive line just really needs help. What
about the pass rush?
The pass rush is good. I am actually okay with their defense. If there was another position other than offensive line, I probably would go defensive line. But especially with Greenway, this might be his last season.
You're going to need to find some replacements for him. And Anthony Barr, it will be a good replacement for him.
Absolutely. He has done extraordinarily well this season, and Sharif Floyd has really stepped up as well this season. But if you could, and Brian Robeson is always the anchor of the D line.
Of course.
But you could bring in some extra help, start developing some young guys there with a really, really talented pass rush from the Minnesota Vikings. I think that would be a great teacher for a new player. But mainly that offensive line just needs so much help. If their first, 5 picks were. Or 4 picks were offensive line, I would be fine with that.
I'd agree.
To be perfectly
I completely
honest.
agree with you on that
The
one.
team is so young.
They are. And you can see. Yeah, you can see it how they play, but they definitely miss Phil Lodeholt also, though.
Absolutely.
That right tackle position hasn't been the same all year. I mean, the starting lineup that was supposed to be this year would have been Matt Khalil, Joe Berger, John Sullivan, Brandon Fusco, and then Phil Lodeholt. And as we know, we're nowhere near that lineup now.
No, because John Sullivan is also hurt, and he was a fantastic center. He has been for years now. So if those two had been on the offensive line, this team would be completely different.
Oh, I completely agree.
And they're 8-4 right now. So if they had an offensive line, man, I don't know if they would have lost to the Packers.
That's a very good point. Yeah, no, I think that's one thing that a lot of folks are questioning too. They're like, well, we saw how good Green Bay was and how bad Minnesota really was when Green Bay beat them. I'm like, that was just a garbage football game as a whole. So anybody that says that Green Bay was the better team, I made the comment. I said they both played mediocre football, and Green Bay was just a better mediocre team at that day. Neither team was like, look at how great we are.
No, absolutely.
No, there was no bit of piece of anything of that game from anybody that I was like, oh, Green Bay's back. We're fine.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No relax moment?
No, never. Never at all. So one other position, though, with Minnesota is the wide receivers that continue to be hot and cold and all over the place.
Yeah.
Folks thought Charles Johnson was going to be this hot receiver this year. He's barely shown up. We've seen Mike Wallace pretend to play football and then vanish for weeks and then come back for 2 or 3 catches on big games and then gone again. Jarius Wright has been consistently average, and then Stephon Diggs has been here and there and everywhere. He was out a little bit with an injury too, but they've got a good base.
Yeah, I was about to say they have the talent there. It's just they need some dang consistency. It's because we've seen Stephon Diggs make crazy catches.
Yeah,
and he and Teddy looked like they had some chemistry going, and then nothing. Then absolutely nothing. I think he had 2 catches last game. And, Mike Wallace shows up and has 2 catches last game. But, Mike Wallace is the number 1 wide receiver on paper.
Yes.
But, in his how he affects the game, he's barely a presence.
I agree
in these games.
Yep, Diggs leads the team with 42 receptions and 626 yards and only 2 touchdowns. Mike Wallace 30 catches for 361 yards and 1 touchdown, and Kyle Rudolph 39 catches for 354 yards and 4 touchdowns. So
and
gives you a breakup of where they all.
I'm not taking anything away from Kyle Rudolph. I think he is a very, very good tight end. I don't think he's getting the targets that he necessarily.
He does see the second most. He's seen the second most targets on the team. He's seen 59 targets this year. Only Diggs with 66 is higher than him.
Which, I mean, how many games less did Diggs play?
I say that's the thing, though. Diggs has played far less games than
Yeah.
anybody else on the team that is an active receiver or tight end, and he still leads the team. I mean, he had
It's
like
crazy.
2 big games though, so he kind of
Yeah.
padded his stats a little bit, but. Even still, the big talk in the offseason was, we got Mike Wallace. Maybe we can revive him from how bad he was in Miami and get him back to his Pittsburgh ways.
Yeah.
Teddy will love having Mike Wallace to throw the ball to.
I was saying it.
Yeah.
I was thinking it.
Yep, exactly. And then, now
know-
Mike Wallace averages 30 yards a game.
Which, it's ridiculous. And that can also be said, again, going back to this offensive line that's not protecting Teddy, and then also Teddy is not making plays when
true.
he needs to make plays. So, I mean, yes, the wide receivers aren't putting up numbers, but also the person throwing them the ball isn't putting up numbers, and that's the real problem. Jarius Wright has been. He said that he was this big deal, and then I remember saying that I'd believe it when I see it, and I still haven't seen it. So
I agree.
Keep trying, Jarius.
Yeah,
keep trying.
I think they've got 4 to 5 good receivers, but they need more time to give Teddy time to throw the ball. And
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know with Teddy. I think we've only seen 2 years of him. We haven't ever really seen a fully protected, fully healthy offensive line or Teddy. So I'm curious to know what the team would look like if all those pieces did come together.
Very true. Very
So,
true.
all right, we're going to jump to a break. When we come back, Connor will have his fitness tip for us, and we'll wrap things up here on the BG Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the BG Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Connor.
All right, welcome back inside the studio. Quick reminder for all of you that you can find us right here from 7 to 8 a.m. Central on Spreaker.com and on Periscope as well, and also on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time, and on demand on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, and on Podbean as well. It is Monday, so it is time for Connor Christensen's fitness tip. So good morning to you again, Connor. Welcome back into the show.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Are you ready for your fitness tip?
I was.
Well, the floor is yours, sir.
All
So
right.
on you go.
All right, so today we're going to talk about how to de-stress. This is more of a general
this. I'm
general
listening.
health tip
Okay.
versus a fitness tip. There's a certain fitness aspect, but I've come on the show and talked about massage before. So I'm going back to that.
So what is your massage for us today, then?
I mean, it's
Your message. Your
my
Sorry.
Good one. So anyway, going to massage. We're moving on from that there.
Sorry.
No, the massage is great because it releases the physical and psychological tension that your body builds up. So any chance you have to get a massage because it's wonderful for you.
I know a gal.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you're married to her. So moving on.
Oh, that too. No, I was saying
talk
like,
about Christina.
Yeah, like
yeah.
my massage,
Well, I mean, that's
actual
2 hours
massage
away,
therapist.
though.
But she's
That's-
worth the drive.
She is worth the drive. Oh my goodness. listeners. Anyway, moving on. So the next way I'm going to say to de-stress is stretching. Stretch in the morning when you wake up, and stretch at night before you go to bed. Now, what I do not mean is that you instantly you get out of bed and you start trying to, get further than you've ever gotten before. It's like, oh, I can touch my toes, but I'm gonna try to touch my heels. Don't try to push it too hard in the morning because your body's cold, it needs time to wake up.
Yes.
So essentially, just stretch a little bit, get the muscles going. It's really good because it helps you unwind after a night of sleep, which you would think would be relaxing, but people do crazy things when they sleep. They roll around, they smack each other,
True.
Whatever. The cats come up and claw you in your sleep and yada yada.
Dang cats. Get out of here.
So you gotta release some of that tension. Start the day off by waking up your body and getting it going, and then ending out the day, relieving all of the tension that was built up over the day through stretching can be a really, really good way, or can be a really good method. Yoga is fantastic.
Do you do yoga?
I would love to. I don't at the moment. I really have no excuse there. I just have to. You put me on the spot. No,
Sorry. I just was
have
curious if you tried it or if you've done it or any of that.
I have done it in the past.
Okay.
The P90X yoga is like muscle building yoga.
Oh,
it's
geez.
crazy. That stuff is insane. I couldn't do most of it, but I do like yoga. Just nice, simple, relaxing yoga to help unwind after the day. And my third and final. Just for today, there are so many, but my third and final one for the day is breathing exercises. So this is, yes, perfect. You know how to breathe. So you too can do this because you know how to breathe.
I do.
This breathing exercise will sound strange to some people because it's a lot of energy-related things, but body energy, bioenergetics is what's a sciencey name.
Ugh.
But yeah, right. So all you have to do is you have to sit down, or you can stand if you want to. You turn your brain off for a little bit, and you just focus on breathing in and out. That's all you focus on. You shut it off, 10 minutes, breathe in, breathe out. Now, something I like to do to add a kind of positive energy type of feel to it is every time I breathe in, I think of a color that reminds me of happy things. My favorite color is orange.
Oh.
So I think of orange when I breathe in, and orange is going inside the body. You're breathing in all of these positive feelings, and then when you breathe out all the dark negative
the
feelings.
dark matter.
Yes.
The dark side.
Yeah. So it's it sounds strange, but it actually works. Give it a shot. Don't judge it before you try it.
Huh.
So that's my final bit is those breathing exercises, breathing in with positive feelings, breathing out your negative feelings. Start your day positive.
I've heard exercises before, say people making a chant of in with Mr. Good Air, out with Mr. Bad Air. In with Mr. Good Air, just out with Mr. Bad Air. Be
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
like
something of that nature. I've heard stuff like that before. Oh, okay, it's a good thing, and I think people are so focused too when they wake up or when they go to bed. They're like, I'm so tired, I just need to go to bed. They just want to get in bed, find that comfy spot, and be gone. Or when they wake up in the morning, the first thing, and I'm totally guilty of this, and I know a lot of people are too. You wake up, the first thing you do is you look at your phone. You're like, all right, got to get in the shower. Whatever you got to do.
Where's my coffee?
Yeah, exactly. Coffee, all that stuff. Don't even think about let me sit up in bed, let me stretch. Get some of that stuff going. And one thing I've noticed too. Just over the years of, when I go and visit my grandparents or whatever, when my grandma wakes up in the morning, and I've, walked by her room in the morning, whenever she sits up in bed, she'll go to the side of her bed and she'll, sit up with a straight back, and she'll do slow exercises, grab her arms and move back and forth a little bit and do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of deep breathing, right away when she wakes up in the morning, and then she'll get up and move on with her day that way. But she tries to work her body a little bit in the morning before she starts her day officially. So, and it usually works out. She's usually much more chipper in the morning when she does that.
Yes.
So, fantastic. Well, thank you, Connor. Appreciate you stopping by. Sorry about the loss.
Oh,
you won in fantasy this week?
I was winning in fantasy until my opponent had Antonio Brown.
Ah.
Yeah, and who took that punt return. If he hadn't gotten that punt return for 70 yards and a touchdown, I would have won. But, it's...
happens to the best of us. I would have won last night, too, except for the Pittsburgh defense was on my opponent's team, and I got handed bad.
Yeah, I only had 3 players that scored above 10 points.
So you, just as a fast thing, my starting running backs and my starting receivers, between the 4 of them, I got 2 points. Just to give you a clarification of how my day went yesterday in fantasy.
Man.
And I still almost won. That's the weird thing about it. So Either way, thank you so much, Connor, for stopping by. We'll see you again on Thursday, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, another exciting edition of the BG Sports Show in the bag. Thanks to Connor Christensen for stopping by, as he does here on Mondays and Thursdays on the BG Sports Show, and for my co-host as well, Sam Wallace, for offering his insights into the NFL and college football world as well. We are going to take off for the day, folks, but remember, we'll be back tomorrow from 7 to 8 a.m. Central right here on Spreaker.com and on Periscope and on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time and on demand on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, and on Podbean as well. Go and check out our Podbean website, bgsportshow.podbean.com. Become a patron if you'd like the show. We'd love to have your support. And remember to follow us on social media. On Facebook, we are The BG Sports Show. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BG Sports Show. I am at Baxter Colburn. And Sam is Samuel_Wallace, too. For Samuel Wallace, Connor Christensen, I am Baxter Colburn. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Enjoy your Monday.